Hey guys, Sandy from Sandy's Guitars, and yeah, I finished it up. So this is the second part of what is a 2-video series where I built a guitar from solo guitar kits. Now the whole idea behind this, just to recap if you didn't see the last episode, and I will leave a link to it in the description, I want to do something special. It's my son's first birthday. Okay, and I want to do something special as a musician, and I figured, you know what would be cool? To build my son a guitar. And I was also thinking, like, for the channel, with it being Christmas, it would be cool to, like, I wanted to do something to include something, you know, that was beginner kind of focus. I thought about maybe doing one of those, like, beginner guitar package kind of things. But then I thought what actually is the perfect beginner guitar package for families would be for a parent and a child to build a guitar. So, sorry, went online, picked this up, $300, and the last video I just unboxed it, took it out of the box, and kind of looked at the components. Well, as you can see, it's done. Okay, I plugged the guitar in, I wired it up, everything, and it's playable. Okay, so the purpose of this video is I am going to get to a sound demo in a little bit. All right, so if you want to fast forward to that, go right ahead. But before you do that, like and subscribe. But what I wanted to talk about was first what my experience was like building this thing, and you know, any issues that I encountered. And then I want to, like, after the playthrough, I'm going to show you how it sounds. And then I'm going to kind of compare it to a Squier Stratocaster guitar that I have kind of off in the corner. So let's get right into it. Okay. Building this was actually pretty straightforward. Now, truth be told, I've built a guitar before. Okay. I've built a couple of parts casters. I had a Tele parts caster and I ended up giving it to a friend. But yeah, overall, very beginner friendly. Now it should be noted that this one, it came with the body pre-finished, so this paint was already on there. Okay, which I don't know, I'm a sucker for the white with the rosewood neck. You know, that just, to me, that just looks cool. So that part was already taken out of the equation. All right. But for actually assembling this, so first off, let's talk about the tools that I did have to have handy. I needed a drill, needed a bunch of drill bits, tape measure just to do some measuring. I also used a set of needle nose pliers. What else? Oh, and then a soldering iron. Literally, there's 3 wires that I had to solder on this thing. It's nothing. Okay. And I also should confess to you guys, like, I'm not a handyman whatsoever. All right. But a few issues that I did encounter with the kit. Overall, it went together really quite smoothly. I did have to do a fair bit of the drilling. All right. Not the tuners. I will say that much. Okay. Those were already pre-drilled. All right. But all the drills, the drilling for, for the pick guard, for the bridge. All right. There is a tremolo system in this. Okay. I mean, it works fine, really. Okay. The tuner holes were drilled, but I did have to drill screws into the back of the tuners. Okay. I imagine they do that. I think Solo does this. They leave it undrilled, so that, you know, if you want to swap out any of the parts. Okay. Yeah. So I put this together. I think the whole process took me maybe 2 hours. Okay. And honestly, it really wasn't all that hard. Now the only issues that I did encounter, all right, one was the bridge. The bridge is a little too forward. Okay. And that's on me. Well, that's all on me. Okay. In the future, I might, you know, take that out, fill in the holes, and bring it back a little bit. Like we're talking maybe like 5 millimeters. All right, I think would be a little bit better. Also, the neck, So the neck did not fit in the neck pocket. So I had to take a piece of sandpaper and kind of get in there. And a couple of things that I learned, and I don't think you'll be able to see it on here. Well, oh no, a little bit. If you see like right there, okay? So I was sanding in there, and what I learned the hard way is that you actually have to be very careful to do kind of an even sand, because like, as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap like right there, okay? But that's the thing, like it's not really a gap because like the neck is in there quite snug. It's just when I was sanding, I guess I was kind of focusing too much more on the top, and then I had to kind of go back and really focus on the bottom. So that's something to note. That's pretty normal with a do-it-yourself guitar kit. You know, some modifications they're gonna happen. All right, and I think like Solo even announces, or like they put on their website, that all the measurements are within like 1 to 2 millimeters, like, which is like fair, right? Yeah. So the other thing I did rush into, one issue I did run into, and again, my own fault, I did kind of force the neck in there at first before I went back and sanded. And unfortunately, I cracked the paint a little bit right in the neck pocket. It's nothing serious. I mean, the neck's on there, it's solid. This guitar does need a setup. I just haven't had a chance. I really did kind of want to throw this thing together, make it playable, and play it for you guys just so you could see, you know, what you're getting for your $300. And yeah. But those were really the only two issues I encountered. Okay, that's one thing I will say. I included a Solo set of strings with it, and I wanted to include the strings. That is one criticism I am going to say. Solo, I hate these strings. These strings suck. Okay? It makes sense. They're probably the most generic bargain bin strings that you can find. But I mean, an agreement or something, a licensing agreement or something like that with D'Addario might go a long way. But other than that, I'm actually quite happy with this purchase. I think this is a great guitar. And yeah, how about I plug it in and play it for you guys? I'm going to be playing through my simplifier as usual, and it's on a Fender amp setting. I'm not going to get too crazy with effects because the whole idea is for you to hear what the pickups sound like. All right, before I get into the sound demo, please hit that subscribe button. You'll be helping me out. And yeah, let's plug in the Solo Strat. Okay, folks, so here we are. As I mentioned, I got my Solo Strat here, and I'm on the neck pickup. Okay, volume's max, as is the tone knob. Messed up a note there, but here we are. Works pretty well. There, I turned the tone knob completely off. I think there is a bit of a volume spike. There, it's at yeah, it's at about halfway now. Okay, so just to show the trem, okay? Actually pretty smooth. I actually think I did a decent job on that. Now, like I mentioned before, this guitar is in dire need of a good setup and a good intonation. So forgive me if things are a little bit off. That said, this part of the demo was really just to give you an idea of, well, frankly, what these electronics sound like. And I think we can agree it sounds pretty good. All right, so position 4, neck middle. sounds like a Strat. Pretty self-explanatory. Turn the tone up. Yeah, a little better. Messed that up, but here we are. Okay, middle. I don't think I'm too far off in saying probably the least used part of the Stratocaster. Nothing wrong with that. Middle and bridge. Sounds like it should. Yeah, the intonation's going off a little bit. Okay. I'm not crazy about the tuners. They get the job done, but I'm not crazy about the tuners. Matter of fact, give me a second. I'm going to tune this thing up again. It was going a little flat, but yeah. We're good to go now. All right, so I'm still in the bridge and the middle. All right, and go the bridge. Okay, well, yeah. That's the solo Strat kit. This is, again, straight out of the box. I put everything, even the strings, okay? And I already said this before. I don't like these strings, okay? Solo, if I'm going to tell you guys one thing, I'm going to give you hell over that. I understand where you're coming from, but throw some better strings in there, okay? But anyway. Otherwise, not a bad guitar whatsoever, okay? Anyway, so I'll be right back with my final thoughts on this, and I'm going to compare this guitar with my Squier Classic Vibe. And, yeah, like and subscribe. Back in a second. So, yeah, as you can see, that guitar, the solo, it sounds very Strat-like, okay? It's a Stratocaster, all right? It does as promised. It does what you need it to, all right? So for the purpose of this review, what I'm actually comparing this with is my Classic Vibe Squier Stratocaster. I do have an American Stratocaster, but I mean, this kit is $300. If you're comparing a $300 guitar kit to a $2,500 guitar, you're an idiot, okay? But comparing it to the Squier, I think is a very reasonable. It's a much more reasonable comparison. And here's the truth of it. So this Classic Vibe Strat is $630 brand new. This was $300 in a box. Okay. Quality wise, and I'm not getting into the build quality because I also don't think that's fair to compare. But just as the components go, all right, this, while different, is pretty damn close to this quality wise, which is actually a pretty good bargain. Okay, I mean, again, $300, $630. That said, you can play this fresh out of the box. This takes a little bit of work and a little bit of know-how. But as far as the components go, we're in the same ballpark. All right. Now, all that said, a few things I would change, and just a second, I'm going to put this one down. All that said, a couple of things listen, it's my son's first Christmas. He's not going to be playing guitar. Okay. So I've got a few years to kind of, really make this one shine, and I'm kind of looking forward to the project. But some of the things that I would do, okay, upgrade these tuners. They're not bad, okay? They're not terrible tuners, but we could do a little bit better. It's about what you'd expect for a $300 guitar kit. I actually thought the pickup sounded pretty good. Yeah, overall, I don't really have much to complain about with those. And I don't really have much of an issue. I really don't have much issue with the electronics at all, really. That said, I might... Yeah, the bridge isn't terrible either. I might give the bridge a once-over. I might maybe replace that with a slightly different one. A good setup on these things is going to go a long way too, right? But anyway, overall, okay, and I mean, it's kind of hard to factor in when you're making like a review like this, because it's not just the product itself, but it's the experience of making it, right? And I mean, like, how do I review that? Okay. I think it's very worthwhile just because, you get to spend time, with whoever you buy it for. Okay. Or just, even the learning experience of it too. If you're relatively new to guitar and you've never built a guitar before, you should get this. Okay. I can't think of a better way to learn the parts of a guitar than to actually build one. All right. And if at the end of it, you get a decent instrument. So really, I don't think you can go wrong with these. I also like the price point. Like I mentioned, I think it's appropriate to compare this to a Squier Stratocaster. There are more expensive, effectively guitar kits. Warmoth being one of the bigger ones. And if this was a Warmoth, I would compare that to a Fender American Stratocaster. I mean, a Warmoth kit, once you've kind of assembled all the parts and stuff, like you're talking about $1,200 minimum. Obviously, depending on what you're getting, but I'd say that's for a bit more advanced player. But yeah, for a beginner. And, just somebody who wants a fun project, create a spare guitar, that sort of thing. Or, you should look into this. This is a good buy. All right. Solo Music does not know I'm doing this. I don't think they care. But hey guys, I'd love to work with you. But they have no idea that I'm doing this. This is not sponsored in any way. I get to say what I like. All right. And I do think this is a good buy. I do think it's worth it. I did check out the diagrams that they have on the Solo Music Gear website, and they're all very well done, and they are extremely helpful. So if you need, that is also important. The support piece is there too. So yeah, I don't think you would be disappointed with these. Anyway, Merry Christmas, son. So this is Sandy from Sandy's Guitars. I hope you've enjoyed part 2 of the Solo Strat build experience. And yeah, please like and subscribe. I am trying to make the channel, grow as much as I can. And yeah, keep practicing. You're getting there. This is Sandy from Sandy's Guitars. Take care.